Hey, folks. Hey. Well, I see there was 3 folks sitting there waiting for me. That's good. Um, hey, Richard. Hey, it's great to see you. Great to see you. Hey, Owen. Yeah, yep, great. I was just earlier today, I was watching Wolfpack Woodcraft, and I was chatting with Corey over there, and we were talking about when we start our streams. If you're lucky, you've got 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 people jumping on, waiting for your video or for your stream. Well, what do you do if you don't have people waiting for your stream when you first start up? And him and I were just kind of talking about that. And I told him, I said, you just got to get really good at talking to yourself. So you look at yourself in the screen and talk to yourself like you're one of the visitors. So yeah. Hi, Jasmine. Yeah, nothing like having my oh sorry about that, Corey. Hey, it's great to see you on here. I was just talking about how we were talking about how do you intro if there's nobody watching, and you just got to talk to yourself. So, hey, Jack Walsh, hey, talk about devoted old Jack. He's always there. Yep, you're right, Corey. It's just like making a regular video when nobody's watching. Hey. Yeah. Hey, Calvin's Corner 72 is here. Awesome. That's great. Hey, I mean, I can't ever complain when Calvin shows up. Never. Georgia Woodsman, first time seeing me. Georgia Woodsman, did you pick up on from the Facebook group? Is that how you got on to me tonight? Just wondering. I joined a Facebook group tonight. I was invited by an old YouTube buddy of mine that hasn't put a video up in a long time. And I'm loving the group. I only got about 15 minutes into it. So I'll be on that group later tonight, and I'll be checking out some of the members' YouTube channels, and that's going to be fun. Cheesehead, you're holding out for better benefits? I like that. See, now, folks, Cheesehead asked me, because I have him as a moderator on my new Facebook group. Now, everybody's welcome to jump on that Facebook group. If you don't get an invite, doesn't matter. Jump over there, join, we'll approve you. But Cheesehead's a moderator for me. Well, now he's trying to negotiate a contract. He says, well, what's the pay? I said, no, that's all volunteer. And he said, well, what about dental and the 401k? I said, the dental's okay. I got somebody that'll pull your teeth that has a clean pair of pliers. And for $4.01 retirement, that's pretty good. I said, it's kind of steep, but I'll go along with $4 and a penny. Now he's saying it ain't good enough. He's going to hold out. Hey, Papa Bear, I got you. Hey, yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming over and checking it out. Folks, those of you, Jesus, he only has 6 teeth. When my dentist gets done with you, it'll truly be a toothbrush because it'll be for your one tooth. So anyway, I'm on Facebook too. Yeah, Calvin. So Anyway, I got 10 folks watching right now, and I'm going to get things kind of rolling. And I'm sure you noticed what I titled this one. And what the topic tonight's going to be is almost without words. We all know what that is. That's the little brown shack out back. I've had people tell me, I've never been in an outhouse. I won't go there. Won't do it. I don't believe them. Everywhere you go to a county fair, you go to the state fair, you go to a church picnic, you go anywhere anymore to any outdoor type activity, and there's satellite toilets. And I've had people say, oh no, you were talking about outhouses. What do you think a satellite toilet is? It's an outhouse. It's just one that you get to haul around on a trailer. So, anyway, thanks, Georgia Woodsman. So, what I want to talk about tonight are outhouse mishaps. And that's why I called it Ode to the Little Brown Shack Out Back. We've all heard the song. Don't let them tear that dear old building down, you know. Boy, I keep I keep looking at these comments. You guys are just a hoot. Oh yeah, thanks, Owen. Yeah, I only got about 7 to go. Before I get too far, hey, Cruiser Mac, thanks for jumping on. Before I get too far and too deep into it, some rules that I want people to make sure to follow. First of all, no foul language. I don't want any of that going on, okay? Truly appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. The innuendos happen, you know, but actual foul language, no. And we don't want the sub for sub going on. No. Follow the YouTube rules. I don't want my channel flagged for that going on. Okay. You all know how to get around that. So please don't do it here. Just like you do at other people's channels. You just respect that fact that YouTube's being stinky about it. So we're all here to support each other. We're all here to support each other. Jump around, look at each other's channels. And if you like their channel, boom, thumbs them up and join their channel. That's what you do. We don't talk about it. We just go and do it. Great. Thanks. We're done with that. So I got to take a quick look at what people are saying. Your grandparents had a two-holer. Yeah, I'm going to talk about a two-holer later. Yeah, it's good. It's good that you're here, Cruiser Mac. Jack Walsh. Poop. Yeah. Cheesehead. Now you folks will just, he's got issues. We tolerate Cheesehead. He's like that problem child. You got to kind of watch him. Hey, Cheesehead, don't touch that. You're going to, he did anyway. Hi, Jack, I love it. A gallon of pine oil to clean up those with a foul attitude. Yeah, a little bit of scrubbing with pine oil, that'll get it out of you. So anyway, back to the brown shack out back. I made a list. I started typing down a list. I did this last week. No, I take it back. It was 2 weeks ago. Because I was going to do just a video on it. And then I realized that video, I'd have to make 17 videos to cover it all. In just my own personal experience. I had or witnessed 37 mishaps related to the outhouse. 37 of them. So I took that list and I pulled 12 off of that list. There's no way I'm hitting all 12 of them tonight, guys. You know, every one of these could be a Sty story in itself, but what I'm going to do is short versions of them. And I don't need any smart talk from you, cheesehead. Keep it short, Sty. You know, you give me too much grief, cheesehead, you're going to have to make me a stuffed chicken breast out at the campsite again. Boy, that guy can really. Oh, he can make a hobo stew kind of boiled dinner thing. Oh, it's to die for. And the stuffed chicken breast. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Anyway. Hey, plain old Chuck. Good to see ya. Oh, my rules always give me trouble. Yeah. Okay. No hobo canned dinner for me, huh? That's like shit. Well, I'll tell you what. If I was allowed to sit, I could have ate both cans of that the last time we got together. Then I'd have a new Little Brown Shack Out backstory to tell. But anyway, I come up with this list. It's a cheat sheet, see? And I don't even know where to start on this. You know, I don't know how long this video is going to go. What I'm doing is I'm shooting for an hour. I'll go for 2. And if I got a bunch of people on at the end of 2, heck, I'll push it out to 3. But at 10 o'clock, Sty's out of here. He's gone. Ain't happening. I got to work tomorrow. But I'm going to pull off this list with a couple of these little outhouse mishaps as we go along here. Let's see. Yeah, he hits the hay. Yeah, not tonight. Not tonight. 10 o'clock. The reason I got to cut it off at 10 o'clock tonight is I've got, I kind of made a promise at this new Facebook group I'm in that I was going to go check those folks' YouTube channels out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to kind of take care of that business and at the same time watch and monitor my Facebook group, Sty Shack. So if anybody wants to get in the Sty Shack Facebook group, if you go to my YouTube channel's homepage, up in the right-hand corner, you'll see the little icon for Facebook, and it'll say Sty Shack next to it. Oh, excuse me. Click on it. It'll take you right to the Sty Shack. It'll put you right in the front door. And join the group. And what it is it's an open forum to gather content ideas from you guys. That's really what I'm looking for over there, is some chat about content. What I should put into my videos, what I should put into my live streams. And I'm sure Cheesehead would say, yeah, I got something he can put in his mouth. It's his foot. No, but anyway, that's what that Facebook group is for. Sty Shack. That's all it is Sty Shack. So, Cruiser Mac, got to get some more coffee. Hey, I don't, he just took off to get it, but I'm ready. I knew it could be quite a long time, so I made sure to stock up before I sat down. But I hope everybody's doing well out there. Man, it was so good to see all you folks jumping on. I love it because I'm seeing new folks. I'm seeing some of my old reliables. I mean, there's folks on here that it goes back. It goes back a long ways. And it's just great to see everybody on there. And on a Sunday evening, there's a lot of people that are saying, no, I just finished dinner. I'm going to saw some logs in my easy chair. Then I'm going to watch a movie. And then I'll crash because I got to go back to work Monday morning. Oh, what's a job? Stay up all night and listen to Sty BS at you. And sleep at work. And tell your boss I told you could. Hey, Jean-Carl, great to have you back. Yeah, Sean, my last live stream, Sean jumped on, and boy, he had it going. He had it going. It was good. It was good, and it's so good to see you back. Yeah, Richard over there at Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, sleeping at work. Very skilled there. Yeah. I've had a couple of jobs. You could probably get away with it. But then I've had a few jobs that, it's not just getting caught by the boss. It's getting caught in a piece of machinery or something if you're snoozing. Plain old Chuck already had his nap, so he's good to go. That's good. Yeah, Jasmine. Got school tomorrow. Middle school is just like a job. LOL. Yeah. If you're taking your schooling serious, it is. It's just like a job. I mean, you got to really put your effort into it. And you got to shake it up early to get off to school. So I'm glad to hear that that's the way you're looking at things. It's not unusual now over on Wolfpack Woodcraft. My granddaughter Jasmine was over there and left a comment on one of Corey's videos, and he said that I had somebody watch one of my videos said that she was your granddaughter, and I said I was not surprised, but I have to say, okay, I've got 14 grandkids. I've got a great grandson. If one or two or three or four pop up, it doesn't surprise me. I got them. They're all over the place. I got grandkids all over the place. I only had 4 kids. So the grandkid thing, that's none of my fault. That's none of my fault at all. My one daughter, her family in itself is almost a family tree. I mean, a big oak tree. She's got 9 kids. And from what I understand, another one on the way. So, wow. What do we got here for... The night was dark and the wind blew down the road. An outhouse flew. A scream was heard, a crowd occurred. A man was hit by a flying turd. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Hey, if you're good to go till 10 p.m., Sean, we just might be here. We might be here. I told myself if I've got 5 or more people after 9, I just may stay on till 10. So we'll see if we get out that far. Oh boy, it's only 2 months till I get my next grandchild. Holy smokes. You got a blizzard there tonight, eh, Sean? You know, we were supposed to get some snow, but it's really just a dusting. It's less than an inch, but bitter cold, bitter cold. Last time I checked, which was about an hour ago, we were like 4 below and 17 below wind chill, but they're talking 25 below wind chill tonight. And it's not even cold yet. because tomorrow we have a heat wave. It's supposed to get up to 11 degrees. And then the next 3 days, bitter, 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 bitter cold. All double-digit negatives for 3 days. So it's going to be tough those 3 days after tomorrow. Okay, Calvin, that's great. Some people used to build their outhouses over a creek. All right. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen where people have built an outhouse right next to the creek, and they would run a pipe from upstream along the bank and right into and all they had was like a stone or a concrete base that was maybe about 4 feet deep. And that pipe ran into that base. And it had a discharge pipe towards the top of that base that ran down the bank and back into the creek. So that toilet was flushing 24 hours a day. No big deal as long as you lived up creek from them people. But if you were living down creek from them, oh my gosh. I mean, even your well water. Oh, no, 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 no. Those were the days. Yeah, Corey. It's going to be a cold one. It's going to be a cold one. Constant flusher. $56 below wind chill. Oh, man, Jean. That's bad, bad, bad. Stay indoors. That's how I'm staying warm. I go outside, get my truck, fired it up, I come back inside. Then I run back out when it's warm. I go to work, get inside where it's warm. Do the same thing coming home. That's it. I ain't going nowhere else. Not till this weather breaks. Yeah, we're on the edge there, Chris. It doesn't look like we're going to get a lot of it. Maybe a couple inches. -2 down farther down the state of Wisconsin down there. Living down Poop Creek. Yeah, outhouses in the winter. Ain't they wonderful? Now there's one I'll tell you there. Now this buddy of mine, he had an outhouse that this is no joshing. You know, the old don't stick your tongue to the flagpole story, you know. He went out to his outhouse and it was about 30, 35 below wind chills. And his old outhouse had, you know, you could see through the cracks in the walls. And he went out there from a toasty hot cabin, sat his butt on that rim, did his duty, went to get up, and his butt was froze to the rim. He frostbit his butt right to the rim. He said he pulled some skin off trying to get off that thing. Well, I was at his place visiting one time, and I looked and I go, what in the world is under the toilet seat out in your outhouse? He goes, oh, that's one of them heaters that you wrap around your pipes. He said, I've got a deep cycle 12-volt battery with an inverter on it. I got it plugged into that. And he says there's an on and off switch right on the wall right next to the seat there. When you walk in, flick that switch on and you wait about, he says it only takes about a minute and a half at the most. And you sit down in the toilet seat's nice and warm. So he had a heated toilet seat in his outhouse. He said he only has to pull that battery out about once every 2 weeks and throw a charge on it, throw it back in the outhouse. Yeah, he had her made out in the outhouse. Now, Jasmine's saying, I remember that little shack in the woods we had to go in when we had to go. Now, I think she's talking. I suspect she's talking about the one out at Camp WTF when I lived out there in the Sty Shack. And you had about it was we kind of measured it off. It was about 150 feet from my door around another cabin to that outhouse. But that was a fancy little outhouse. It was all painted up pretty. It had all these decorations in it. We had a magazine rack, and oh yeah, that was a fancy outhouse. Um, in fact, that was one of the that that was one of the things on my cheat sheet here. Where is it? There it is. Called Honey Holler. That outhouse out at Camp WTF. That was one of those that just sat on the ground. It didn't have a true pit. The pit was only about 18 inches deep. Because originally they would only use it on short trips out to the cabin. Well, we moved out there. Well, now there ain't no short trips. So we're using it every single day. And there was typically 2 to 3 of us on site every day using that outhouse. Well, you can imagine, you have to get that cleaned out quite often. Well, at the back of the outhouse, there was a couple of boards that I could pull off, and I had about 18 inches that I could get a shovel in there and shovel out the outhouse. And I say I because the other 2 people said they couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. Not me. I can't shovel that. No way I can't do it. Well, it was great. It was great. The very first time I shoveled out the outhouse, I had a honey hauler. It was an old wheelbarrow just for that. Don't use it for nothing else. Don't use it for hauling firewood. You don't want to handle that firewood. Put that crappy old firewood in your wood stove. Nah. So that wheelbarrow was just for that. And I called it the honey wagon. And I would go fill the honey wagon, and we had a spot out in the woods where I had excavated a pit. And that's where it went, was out in that pit. And I'd have to clean that outhouse out, 4 to 6 times during the summer. And then during the winter, it would freeze up. You couldn't clean it out. So the first cleanup in the spring was a bummer. It was a bummer. And in the winter, what we had to do, I had to go in there, and I had this big steel chisel, and I'd pry and move everything out and down so that it wouldn't fill up before the end of the winter. Well, my buddy out there, he couldn't do it. He says, I can't. I just can't. And his honey, she couldn't do it. No, she wasn't going to do it either. No way. That's Sty's job. Sty'll do it. Well, they knew how bad that was of a job. So I would clean that outhouse out, and Big Jim would show up with a carton of cigarettes. Well, cigarettes ain't cheap. And he'd hand me a carton of cigarettes. Well, what's that for? For cleaning out the outhouse. Oh, well, heck. I should clean it out more often. But the very first time I did it, he just gave me a $20 bill. And I thought, that's not such a bad job if you cleaned out, say, 3 of those a day. Yeah, you could make some pretty good money in a week. But not a job I wanted full time. What do we got going on here? Yeah, Jack is saying that The next bad weather for central and eastern U.S. will be 5 to 11 in February, according to 16-day weather forecast models. Yeah, ain't that wonderful? It's going to end the night of the 10th. It's my birthday on the 11th of February, so I don't want bad weather. I'm hoping to get that day off. It's hard for me to, I can't talk and chew gum at the same time. And I'm getting used to a little better keeping an eye on the comments, but excuse me if I miss any. I try to scan back and forth, but I'm kind of slow. But then I'm old and full of excuses. Yeah, old Chuck. Grandpa used to say his place was 3 rooms and a path. Now I'm going to come back to that one, Chuck. Sean says, later on, Grandpa put a heater in the outhouse, but you had to run out quickly and turn it on and then give it about 10 minutes. Then it was great. Oh, yeah, if you're running out there, it's an emergency. Yeah, too late for the heater. Why even turn it on, right? Oh, yeah, the lime scooper. We used wood ash. We had two. We had the Sty Shack and we had Rory's Cottage, both strictly heated with wood. We had a huge surplus of wood ash, and we always had the big bucket of wood ash in there with the scoop. You go and sprinkle, go and sprinkle, go and sprinkle. Yeah. And it worked good. It worked really good. And it helped break it down. It made it a little more pleasant when I had to haul it, too. Thanks, Richard. It's not that I really count birthdays anymore. The only reason this one counts is because at 62, I get to retire early. So 62 is an important one for me. It's probably the last important birthday I'll have, except my very last birthday, which I probably won't know which one that is. Yeah, everybody, make sure to say hello, Richard. Bentley's Backwoods Bushcrafts channel. I saw Richard. It's not. I'm not targeting you or anything for beeping your horn or anything, but I'll tell you what, folks. Richard was one of the first YouTubers I latched onto 3 years ago when I first started my channel, and Richard and I have been watching each other grow. Richard's been doing great. And his channel has gone a couple of little different directions, but it's always been what I consider consistent. And it's consistent because of Richard. Richard doesn't think as highly of Richard as others do. I honestly believe that. I think Richard feels that others see him as being just too carved in stone. I love it. I love it. Richard is real people. I want everybody to jump over there, check out Richard's channel. It's awesome. Richard's awesome. He's a great guy. Ooh, he's a wrestler. I'd love to have him with me anytime I'm in a rough neck of town, at a rough end of town. And I'd walk around just cocky as can be. As long as I had Richard next to me. Otherwise, Sty's sneaking through the alleys again. He's trying to avoid everybody. But get over there and check out Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. It's great. You'll love it. He does all kinds of neat stuff. Hey, Jack. That's the way the old military latrines used to be. The old cut down 55-gallon drums. Yep. Throw some number 2 on it. Liquid number 2. And burn it up. Burn it up. Yeah, you drain off the liquid and you burn up the solids. Yeah. Yeah, Jasmine, I know. Yep. My oldest grandson just had a birthday. Turned 24 years old. Holy oh, that gives it away, doesn't it? I got a grandson that's 24 years old. And he has my only great-grandson, and my grandson's mother is having another child. So, yeah, it gets weird. It gets weird after that. Butterball's nose. I had blue screen of death right as I was going to ask a question with the shell hole under the outhouse. Was any of the byproduct dry by the time you had to remove it? No. No. Because it was in a shallow 18-inch kind of pit, ground moisture stayed in there. It just never, we couldn't vent it enough to dry anything out. It just never got dry. Yeah, hey, can somebody throw up Richard's link? There's got to be somebody that's got the link handy that can throw it up there. I'm still messing with my system, and I'm afraid I'll kill my stream if I start jumping around. I'm not on excuse me. I'm not on OBS, so I don't have some of the pleasures. Oh my gosh. Oh, yep, Butterball, I'm glad that answered your question. I see Shabo's Outdoors. Hey, Mr. Sty, how's it going? It's going better, Shabo. Having you here. I haven't seen anything up on your channel for so long, and I've been watching. I've been keeping an eye on you. So I don't know where you've been, and I don't need to know. I just needed to know you're okay. It's so good to see you here, Shabo. Hey, thanks, Richard, for getting your link up there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I see that, Corey. He just put the URL up there. It won't be an actual hot link, I don't think. Having a couple of Joes in the house here. Yeah, actually, Chris, that's a good point. All you have to do is, if you're watching this and you're watching the chat, go over to the 3 dots next to his post, to his comment, click on that, and just hit go to channel. It'll take you right to his channel. And it'll do it as a new tab. You won't leave the feed. It'll just pop it up as a new tab, and you can jump over and check it out whenever you have the time. Thank you, Cheesehead. That's why I got you as a moderator there. Yeah, Cheesehead's helping me out because it was Kelvin that gave us the dots suggestion. Yeah, thanks, Kelvin. I'm giving all the credit to Cheesehead. He's whining about his pay. You know, he thinks he should get paid to be a moderator on my Facebook group. So Yeah, so I'm trying to give him all the credit I can, even if I got to steal it from Calvin. And you're right, Cheesehead, you're right. We can approve links. Jack links, I'd approve of those if you got some passing my way. Chabot says, "Oh, thanks, buddy. I'm going to be making a vid soon. Explain what happened, buddy. I wound up having to have throat surgery." Oh boy, Chabot. Oh man. Oh, I hope you're recovering well. Oh man. Our prayers are with you, buddy. Oh, so another one of my grandkids, Joey's watching. Hey, Joey. Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, Cheesehead. Say hi to Joey, you lousy. What a lousy grandpa you make. Old Sty. Hey, I was out in the Little Brown Shack out back. I missed it totally. Okay, Calvin. Hey, I'm so glad that you jumped on. I suppose you're got to get some sleep. You're probably heading to work. Oh, yeah. Don't talk about your pay there, Calvin. Sean, I remember only one time helping my grandfather move and dig a new outhouse hole. It was at least 4 feet deep. Yep, that's the way it was out on the farm when I was a kid. Yeah, the pit had to be 4 to 6 feet deep. Shovel. Oh yeah, you can't keep a good fat man down. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's the one thing I like. There's two Erics, there's two Joes, and we don't have a lot of people in the room. But one thing I am certain of, because I beat the internet to death, beat it to death. There's not another Sty North out there. So if you're talking to me, I know it's me you're talking about. Watch it. Now, that was one thing that my grandpa used to do as punishment. If you misbehave in the house, after dinner, the sun's gone down, you misbehave, you're going to go sit in the outhouse until bedtime. I told him, you're nuts. No, you got to go sit out there in the outhouse. I need a light. You don't get a light just to sit out there. So you have to go sit in a dark outhouse. Fortunately, there was in the barnyard, there was a big overhead spotlight out lit up the barnyard. Well, but it was still dark out there. So yeah, you behaved after dinner. The sun goes down. I don't want to have to go sit out that outhouse alone for an hour, 2 hours before it's bedtime. No. Yep, I got that, Jasmine. I may be able to get down that way in May. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. In the right part of the country. Yeah. Look out for rattlers in the privy. You betcha. Did the outhouse have Wi-Fi? Back in that day. My granddad used to own, he owned a telephone company. It had 116 phones. They were all hand cranked. And they had the switchboard at the farmhouse, his place. He was a electronics nut all through the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Well, right up until the mid 70s. Right up until he passed away. People that still had old televisions were bringing them to him in the early mid 70s and having them repair them and all. But he had a phone company, 116 customers, and he had a shed just full of those little 4-volt phone batteries, the little square phone batteries, 100 and some of them. Because he'd have to go switch those out at the people's houses once a month. And he'd bring them home, and they all got wired together, and they're all getting charged. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Those were the days. And that was the closest thing to Wi-Fi we had out on that farm. People would use the old crank phone, and my grandmother or my granddad would answer it at the switchboard, and then they'd send them through to the more modern phone system. It's nuts. They finally got rid of it. You know, the phone company came out and told my grandfather, "That's all right. We're going to run our lines right next to yours." And he said, "Good. I'm going to cut all my poles down." Because he didn't. After he did it, he had fun doing it. It was more of a hobby than anything. But it got to be too much work. I always have deer scare me before I make it to the outhouse. Wolfpack saying, "Hey, that happens too. Is critters between you and the outhouse." And there's been a couple of times I thought, well, I almost didn't need to use the outhouse because the critters scared me so bad. Yeah, Butterball, that's a good one. I like that. Making free calls anywhere illegally. Okay, Jasmine, you go eat your dinner. Okay, my craziest outhouse story. Let's see. I'm going to look at my cheat sheet here, folks. Craziest one. Oh man, I got a couple that are pretty nuts, but I'll do a couple here in a row. One of them, okay. And this is back out at Camp WTF. When I first moved out there that winter, it was no big deal. And it was just me. I lived the first winter out there all alone. That next summer, I would have to say early, it was late spring, actually. Rory moved out. She wasn't permanently moved out, but she stayed out there for about a month and a half. And while she was there, she told me, she said, "Sty," she says, "we got a real problem." I said, "What's that?" She goes, "There's bees in the outhouse." And I go, "Oh, well, I'll take care of that." So I went out there and I'm looking. And sure enough, there's just a small paper wasp nest starting up in the peak inside the outhouse. But you had to go in and you darn near had to sit down to see it up there. So there's that paper wasp nest up there. And I look, and sure enough, here comes a hornet out of it, I go, oh, no. So I went and I got a big long stick, and I went in there. Well, it's inside the door and like that. So you can't get in there and get it because you can't see. So you have to be inside to do it, right? So in our outhouse door, it was spring loaded. So it would close itself, right? And we had this lever on the outside. So we would lock that door because if it wasn't in use, because the wind would catch the dang thing, blow the door wide open. Well, then it would blow all the leaves and garbage in the outhouse. Well, so I'm inside, and I got this stick, and I'm looking at that paper wasp nest up there. And I thought there can't be more than 4 or 5 bees living in that little thing. So I'll just smash it, and then I'll just run out the door. I took that stick, and I gave it a good slam, and I didn't hit the bee's nest right on. I hit it on the edge, and it just rolled and kind of split open. And I freaked, and I dropped the stick, and I had the door propped open with a little gas can that didn't have any gas in it. It was just empty, and it wasn't heavy enough to hold the door. And the door swung, and the door come around, slammed shut, and that little lever on the outside to lock the door flopped down. And now it wasn't just, 3, 4, 5 bees. There was about 15 of them in there, and they're been out of shape to sting something inside the crapper with me in there, and the door's locked. I can't get out. It had to have sounded like World War III inside that crapper. And I killed every single one of them bees. And I was wore out, totally wore out. I leaned up against that damn door, and the door opened. The lever had wiggled itself down again and let me out. Yep. That was I think one of my worst adventures. That was crazy. Getting locked in the crapper with a hornet's nest that's bent on biting you. Yeah. Jack's. I was gonna put that up before the stream even started. Jack, make sure to grab your popcorn and have a root beer for me too. Boy, Jasmine, that was a quick dinner. Oh, false alarm. Bummer. Yeah, I agree, Richard. All excited for supper. What, it's not done? Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay. Here's another one. This one you probably get a laugh out. Now, this didn't happen to me. I witnessed it. Back in the early 70s, I went to a truck driving training school. It was a 6-month truck driving training school. It's not like one of these, you're there for a couple of weeks and you get a job and off you go. This was a 6-month truck driving training school. And basically what it was to prep you for the trucking business, to be an owner operator, blah, 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 blah. And it was just like a job, man. You had to punch a time clock at 8 o'clock in the morning. You had to punch in by 8. And then you had to punch out at the end of the day. And if you missed 3 times, you were kicked out of the school just like you get fired at a job. It was tough. Well, we had this big rodeo, what we called the rodeo. It was a huge parking lot, and you take these tractor trailers out there, and it's got cones all over the place, and you got all these obstacles you got to drive through and back through and all that. But it's this huge parking lot, and it's got a half a dozen blue satellite toilets, outhouses, portable outhouses. Well, we had this fella in my class. Oh, was he a big boy? Oh, okay. Now just try to picture this guy. He was 6'4", and that's just getting to the start of it. He was 6'4", weighed 385 pounds. 385 pounds. Big boy. Nicest guy you ever met. But he always told us, just don't get me mad at you. Don't do anything so bad that you get me mad at you. He says, I have a hard time when I get so angry from holding back, and you don't want me to get my hands on you. Well, I believed him. I believe it. Well, we had this little guy that had what I call little guy syndrome. He was only about 5'1". You're a little guy. There's nothing wrong with being little or nothing wrong with being big. But when you take it personally, it can become an issue. Well, this little guy, he strutted around that school, that truck driving training school, like he was 6'4" and 425 pounds. I'm the man. And he's just a little guy. So I said, yeah, he's got little guy syndrome. Well, he finally got Dale, the big guy, upset enough that Dale wanted a piece of him. And I seen Dale jump out of the truck he was in and head for that little guy. And that little guy took off across the parking lot. And there was about 5 of us out there, and we went running over to see what's going to happen. You know, Dale gets a hold of him, that little guy. We want to see how many pieces he's going to break him into. That little guy dives into one of those satellite toilets, into an outhouse, slams the door, locks the door, and he sat on the floor with his back up against the seat box and his feet up against the door. And Dale shouldered that door, and it wasn't opening. It wasn't opening. He tried 2-3 times. And Dale walks around to the back of that outhouse, and he reaches around, and he takes his knuckles, and he punches that fiberglass that the thing's made out of on each side, and punches a hole about the size of a grapefruit in each side wall. Gets a hold of it, gets his hands in there, and he picked that outhouse up with the little guy in it, plus all the chemical and poop and everything else that was in it. He picked it up, and he tipped it at about a 45-degree angle and started to shake it. And we're all just like, oh, whoa. What's he do? He stands it back up, sets it down, gives it a shove, door first, onto the parking lot. He walks away going like this, gets back in his truck and goes back to what he was doing. The 5 of us looked at each other and said, are we going to go help him get out of there? Because you could hear him screaming. And he's trying to get out of that crapper. And all of us were saying, no, look at all that blue chemical all around it and everything. Oh, no, we don't want to touch it. And finally, the little guy figured it out. If he stood on the door, if he crouched down, stood on the door, put his hands on the wall of the outhouse and pushed it up, he could fold it over, and then he could get out. He come crawling out of there. I've never seen nothing so bad in my life. I've never seen a brown and blue person. Never seen it, except that one day. Oh, yeah. That's now that's crazy. That's nuts. And the rest of that 6 months, nobody upset Dale ever. And the little guy, he never came back. I don't know why he didn't finish his school. Let's see what people are saying here. I see. Whoa, boy, I fell behind, folks. That's what happens. Okay, okay. And I'm getting close. Hey, Papa. Hey, glad to see you jumped in here. It's good to see. Yeah, you guys are all such great people. You're all such great people. It's nice to see Corey that you jumped on there and welcomed him into the pack. It's just in your nature, isn't it, Corey? Hey, Sean, you could see where that was heading. Yeah, he was a big man on campus. That's right, Jack. Long and the short of the story. Yeah. As Dr. Phil would say, this could be a life-changing experience. Then you know that little guy. I know that changed his life. I bet he's never used an outhouse since then. Ever. He may have been still peeing people off, but he's running into something else other than an outhouse. If you're wondering what I pop in my mouth, it's busted up old Christmas candy cane. Sty can't smoke when he's live streaming, so it's actually good for me. So I snack on a little bit of candy to keep my mind off it. But you guys do a pretty good job of that. Yeah, you're right. Tipping those porta potties back up isn't easy either. It sure wasn't. Watching him try to get out from that thing, oh boy. And you know, none of us laughed. All five of us watching, none of us laughed. It was just shock. It was pure shock. It wasn't until it was all over and that little guy, he left. And Dale went off doing what he was doing. Then the five of us looked at each other and burst out laughing. Couldn't quit laughing for 20 minutes. Okay, Richard. Yep, you get out there and pick the boy up. Thanks for jumping in. Everybody say goodbye to Richard for tonight. And get over there and check his channel out. Yeah, I have to say, Corey, when I jumped into your live stream, it was just like, oh boy, I wish he had more time. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Wolfpack's got a head for dinner too. You have a good one, Corey. Thanks for stopping in. We'll catch you later. We'll catch you later for sure. And I'll be watching for Thursday's usual post. For those of you that are still here, I just to let you know, I've got kind of a schedule set up. I'll be doing another live stream. I'll repeat this at the end of the night when I'm done. But I have another live stream that I'll be doing Friday night at 7 p.m. And then another one next Sunday at 7 p.m. And then another one the following Friday at 7 p.m. So, and I'm not going to, I put up a little video announcing I'm going to be doing one later in the week, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to do that anymore. That little 43-second video, people liked it. They thought it was okay and cool, but it really messed up my analytics. Yeah, it's just not worth it. I'll I'll just I'll just put up my live stream um, early enough that you can see when it's going to start that day or whatever. Um, and then in any videos I do in between, I'll try to remind that there's live streams on these nights. So, but it'll be Fridays and Sundays for these 2 weeks. Hey, Papa, you have a good night too. Back to work. Yeah, back to editing. Isn't that fun? Got some great people there. Yep. The made homemade chicken and dumplings today, so dinner was a bit early tonight. Oh wow. Yeah. That sounds pretty tasty. Now, I checked out a new channel today. It's My Old Lady's Cooking Channel, is what it's called. My Old Lady's Cooking Channel. I checked her channel out, and oh yeah, I joined that one. she, I watched 3 of her videos, and all 3 of them, oh my gosh, I wrote it all down and saved them. I liked them. I'll be going and making that stuff. She's got some really good recipes, and one of them I'm going to be making probably day after tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. And it's loaded potato soup in the slow cooker. Oh, does it look good? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cheesehead would love it because it's got lots of cheddar cheese in it. Hey, Uber Digger, good to see ya. Okay, Jasmine, we'll see ya. Yep, we'll see you next Friday. Yeah, that's the way it went on my last stream. Well, both my last streams is we get about an hour into it and we'll lose a couple of people here and there. And that's normal. And then all of a sudden we start picking folks back up. And that's normal. Comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. If I've got between 8 and 15 viewing at a time, as far as I'm concerned, it's doing very, very good. It's doing very, very good. Yeah. The I look through and you guys, you're great. You're great on the chat side. You're really great on the chat side. I've seen so many chats that you just it's just like boom, 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 and one word comments because you just can't say anything. Because if you say something, people miss it. The chat's moving so fast, and this chat's going so smooth. It's going so well. Yeah, yeah, Butterball. That's one of my favorite soups. Yeah, it's a great video. I'm going to have to. Let's see. the I'm going to I got to really push on getting OBS working for me. I watch everybody that uses OBS, and I'm envious. They can jump screen, they can throw all kinds of things up, boom, 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 and they do it so seamlessly. Corey over at Wolfpack Woodcraft, he's getting it figured out really well. His is looking really good, and I chatted a little bit with him about the topic today, and I'm working on it, and I'm hoping by April that I got OBS up and running, and my streams will be done through OBS. And then when I have things like Butterball's saying I should find this video, I could pull it up. I'd be able to put you right onto it. But the way my system's working right now, man, once I'm on this stream, it's like things start to lock up and do goofy things when I try to jump and do any searches. So I just leave it right on the stream and live with it. But it's going to get better. We'll be getting better. A cooking video by chance? Jack. Show you how to make popcorn. Oh, plain old Chuck got stuck on the Creative Outdoorman's cowboy egg recipe. That sounds good. Yeah. It's always good when you're on here. Yeah. Me doing a cooking video. If I do any cooking videos, it'll be later this summer when I'm out and about, when I got the Sty Adventure Trailer out there, Sty Shack 2, or if I'm doing an overnighter with the truck. Then I'll do some at camp cooking videos. But cooking here at home, I'm not going to give you the tour of the apartment because my housekeeper hasn't been here for a week. No, I don't have a housekeeper, but I wish I did. But my kitchen is smaller than most people's small bathrooms. So when I'm cooking, the last thing I have room for is a camera. And the last thing I want anybody to see is what that kitchen looks like while I'm cooking. It's a disaster area. It is. It's nasty. I got no room. I got no room. And so yeah, cooking. You'll have to wait till I'm out in camp, doing a camp video, and I'll do some outdoor cooking this summer. What do we got going on here? Jack, you can boil water without burning it? That's pretty good. Didn't I do one a while back? Well, all I did that I recall was cooking a steak over a campfire. But no, I haven't really done any real involved cooking videos. Oh, that's ridiculous, Jasmine. Your mother's terrible. You make sure to get that homework done first thing in the morning then, but don't stay up here too late. Listen to his grandpa telling his granddaughter, hey, you better behave yourself. You better get that homework done. Get that homework done. or we'll send you to bed without dinner. With a homemade oven? Um, that I'm not too certain about. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, a couple of, I did a blueberry muffin at the lean-to in my homemade Dutch oven. That homemade Dutch oven I no longer have. It was lost in my transition from Camp WTF to moving to Stanley, Wisconsin at the time. I intend on building another one this summer and doing some cooking in it. And another one that I did was Sty's Backwoods Biscuit Baker, where I made a banana nut muffin in what I call Sty's Backwoods Biscuit Baker. So, or biscuit maker. You can look that up in my playlist of I don't know if it's in the playlist, actually, in a playlist, but it's Backwoods Biscuit Baker. Yeah. See, that's what I got to do, Uber Digger, is I got to get myself a new Dutch oven, an actual cast iron Dutch oven. I no longer have one. White Cloud, welcome to the group. Good to see you here. And all is well. All is very well right now. Plain old Chuck. Yeah. He cooks so well that they ask him to bring the paper towels to family reunions. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, Sean. That's why I thought of those, and I thought, yeah, that might be what he was thinking of. Oh yeah, yeah. Building a stone oven and cooking pizza on it. Yeah, yeah. It would have been neat to have some pictures of that, to see that. No, I was fortunate enough in one camp I had that I found an awesome piece of shale, flat shale, that worked great for a top that I could cook on directly on the stone. And that camp is long gone, grown in, and no sign of it anymore. But I've seen folks take flat pieces of stone and actually make an oven box and have a fire pit, almost like a Dakota fire pit, um, underneath it, and use it and actually bake in it. I've never done that, but that might be something I want to put on my bucket list. Oh, Jasmine, no, that sign was given to me as a gift by Rory up at Camp WTF. Yeah, she figured I needed a sign that said Sty Shack on it. And that was back when I lived in the Sty Shack up there. Yeah, those were the days, the old Sty Shack. Okay. I'll tell you what. We're supposed to talk about outhouses tonight. I'm going to tell you one. Now, I remember this, and I was just a little tight at the time. And the only reason I remember it is because of all the commotion that went around this. Okay. My grandmother had an aunt, which wasn't much older than her. She wasn't much older than my grandmother. And my grandmother, she loved everybody. Everybody. She loved everybody. Except that woman. She did not like that woman at all. Well, my grandfather, he disliked that woman a lot more than my grandmother did. And to my grandfather, that woman was just an in-law. Well, like I had said earlier, my grandfather was a electrician. He was an electronics nut of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Well, we had this big family reunion thing, and it was a big cookout on the farm. Well, the yard around the house was too small, so we're out in the main barnyard. And we got all these picnic tables and stuff set up, and they got the fire pits, 2 fire pits going, and their big cauldron full of corn on the cob and all the different meats cooking over the other fire pit. And, oh yeah, we're having a high old time there. And it's a bunch of family. Well, that woman was there that my grandmother and grandfather didn't care for. Oh, and she was a nasty old thing. As a little kid, I can remember you walk past her and you look at her and we were always taught, you don't have to like them, but you better smile at them. Because some of them old gals, they'll tear you up. So you're smiling as you're walking by, and she give you the dirtiest look. Like, come over here, you little monster. I'll rip your ears off. Well, I didn't like her. Oh, no. Didn't want to get closer. Well, we're all out there in the barnyard having a good old time, And, well, it's quite a ways from the house, but about 30 yards from there, over by my grandfather's electronic shop, is an outhouse. And everybody was told, use the outhouse. Don't be running back and forth to the farmhouse. Just go over and use the outhouse. Everybody was told that. Well, this old gal starts heading to the outhouse. We wouldn't even notice that she was going to the outhouse. But all she did was just as loud as could be, there better not be anybody in there when I get over there. Don't anybody come around that outhouse while I'm in it. And on and on and on and on. And we're all just like, well, nobody wants to be near you anyway. Just go. Why don't you go in the outhouse, fall in the hole? So off she goes to the outhouse. And it wasn't maybe 30 seconds. We hear this blood-curdling scream. And that outhouse door flew open, and that old woman come running out of there. Her skirt's just a-flapping, her bloomers around her ankles, and she's screaming, I've been bit, I've been bit, I've been bit. Well, my grandmother, like I said, she loves everybody. She couldn't stand that woman, but she'll do anything to help anyone. So she runs over, and she's, what's the matter? And that old woman just kept screaming, I've been bit, I've been bit. My grandmother takes her in the house. Well, after the old woman's in the house, my grandpa, here he comes out of his electronics shop. And he's just red in the face. He's got tears running down his face. And he's trying to be straight and proper. But he's, every couple of seconds, he starts to laugh. And he couldn't quit laughing. Well, we found out later. Well, and then that old woman refused to come back out for the rest of the cookout. Well, then we find out later my grandmother was telling my grandfather and my folks and all of us what happened. The old gal went in the outhouse and dropped her bloomers, hiked her skirts, and sat down on the seat. And was just getting ready to do whatever she was going to do. And all of a sudden, she got bit in her rear end. And my grandmother said 8 times. 8 times all at once. And she was giving my grandpa the dirty look, you know. And my grandpa was trying not to grin. Finally, my grandpa said, well, here's what happened. He says, I went out to that outhouse knowing that old woman was going to be here today, and I pounded some 16-penny nails around the rim of the seat. And underneath where the nails were sticking through, I took some wire and wrapped it around each nail. And then that wire I ran out to the electric fence, which was a weed burner. If a weed blew up against that fence, it burnt the weed right off. It would just cut the weed right. It would poof. And us kids used to have fun. You go over there and take your foot and you push a piece of big weed or big tall grass against that fence and watch it burn off. He hooked it up to that electric fence. He's got the main switch in his electronics shop for his electric fence for that. It was for a corral. And he sat in that shop and watched that old woman go in that. He was just waiting. He was waiting for her to do it. She went in that outhouse. He said he counted to 30. Hit the switch. Pound the switch. Boom. It burnt. My grandmother said it looked like a horse that had spikes and a hoof that big kicked her in the rear end because she had four burns on the left side and 4 burns on the right side in a perfect horseshoe. Something tells me this day and age, somebody would have called the cops. But all of us kids, we didn't know what was going on until they told us the truth. And then us kids had to all get out of the room and go laugh because it was disrespectful to laugh that old lady got her butt burned in the outhouse. So yeah, that outhouse really burns my butt. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, I like that first comment, Jack. The poor thing that bit the old one probably going to get dysentery. Oh, what a charge. You're not kidding. Yeah, look at that white cloud. You enjoyed it, eh? It just gets better, Butterball. Hey, Jim, Don. Hey, when did you sneak in? How could I miss you? No, I don't see you up there. Say hi to Jim, everybody. Jim Dunn's here. Yeah, Grandpa wasn't much of a cook either. He burnt the buns. Oh, animal scares in the outhouse. All right, here we go. It's on my cheat sheet. Here's one for you guys. I titled it The Skunk House. Now, this is absolutely no kidding either. Everything I got on this sheet, these 12 that I'm working off of, they are the honest to God's truth. You know, if I season them a little bit, I guarantee you the original flavor is the honest to God's truth. Okay. The skunk house. I was at a camp when I was a teenager. It was a church camp way out in the boonies, out in the woods. Awesome camp for a church camp. And it was surprising how flexible their rules were. You know, it was a good camp. And I got some stories on my list about that camp I'll get to eventually. But this one works for tonight. That camp had 12 boys' cabins and 12 girls' cabins, and they were separated by about 6 acres between the two of them. There were 6 outhouses, one for every 2 cabins. Well, each cabin held 12 kids. So there's 24 kids using one outhouse, right? Well, even as a teenager, I was as regular as clockwork. I had to do my daily duty at the same time every day. Well, at camp, I had to adjust. So I finally got it figured out, and I got my camp counselor in my cabin to agree to allow me to head out to the crapper after lights out, so that I wouldn't have any competition. Otherwise, every time I go to the outhouse, you no more than sit down. Somebody's pounding on the door. Hurry up in there, Sty. We gotta go. We gotta go. Well, what do you think I'm doing? Get out of there. It's Sty using up the place again. Get out of there. Okay. So the counselor said, yeah, you can go after lights out. You know, we'll let you do that. We'll make that exception. Well, one night I go out there. It's about 11 o'clock at night. I get in the outhouse, and I'm sitting there, and all I've got is one of them old flashlights with the D batteries in it, and they're going almost dead. You know, it's almost more of a yellow light than a white light, but at least it's some light. And I'm in the outhouse. Just sit down and do my duty, and I'm going, you know, you usually don't want to sniff in an outhouse, but something seemed off. That outhouse smell just didn't seem right. Well, you know, I don't know how to put it in a polite way, but when the duty was done and it dropped, the minute it hit, pow. That's when I found out it was a skunk house. Well, these outhouses, they were kind of open around the sides, maybe about 6-8 inches all the way around at the base. And they had a round hole that went into a concrete pit, and then they'd pump that out. Well, here a skunk had come in, crawled underneath the outhouse, and was sitting, had to have been right around that rim of that round hole. Well, when he heard the splash, he let her spray. I had no stink on me, except for I tell you what, that skunk sprayed my back door so bad. At 11 o'clock at night, I'm running down. First, I went to the cabin, and I opened the door, and I yelled for the counselor. And the whole cabin, woke the whole cabin up. Costa comes running over. What's the matter? What's the matter? And then he goes, "Oh my gosh, what happened to you?" And I told him, I told him what happened. I said, but, and he looks and he goes, "You ain't wearing no pants." I said, "I can't." I took them off right away because I can't get the skunk stink on them. I said, "It's just on me, on my butt." And he says, "Just a minute." He runs and he comes back and he's got a big bar of that lava, that green lava soap. And he goes, "Oh, you go down to the lake and scrub your butt." So off Sty went after 11 o'clock at night, and it was a cold night. And I'll never forget squatting over the edge of the beach and scrubbing my butt for about an hour. But you know what? If you get it right away, it worked pretty good. I only smelled like a skunk for about 48 hours after that. But there you go. There's an animal encounter in the crapper. So, hey, thanks, old man. Yeah, if you folks would hit the thumbs up, I'd love it. What do we got going on here? Boy, we got people all over the place. Oh. Where do we go here? Where are we at? Where are we at? Yeah, Sty's having a heck of a time here. I gotta keep a close eye on you guys here. After this chat, M. Miles, hi. After this chat, I'm afraid to go to the bathroom, he says. Why? A little rosemary and thyme, please. Thyme. Jack. Butterfly. Well, yeah. Okay. Glad you're pleased. It's one of those moments you just had to be there. Oh yeah, yeah. If you've been on the farm, if you don't have some skunk encounters of some kind, you ain't been on the farm. Yeah, yeah. You hear that. Use the tomato juice. Yeah. I've never had to because I've never been actually sprayed and had to use it. Other than that occasion, if I would have had it, I would have used it. But out at that camp, if we would have woke up the cooks to get in the kitchen to get tomato juice, no, my butt wouldn't have just stunk. It would have stung because they would have whipped me good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, think about it. If you had the ability to spray like that and it stunk that bad, you wouldn't want to do that. I mean, absolutely life and death situation only. Why would you want that stink on yourself? Oh, I don't think a skunk's nose works because, man, oh man. Sad when you feel at home in an outhouse. uh, Yeah, Jasmine. Yeah, them kids, grandkids of mine, they lived on the farm for quite a while. Yeah, a paste of baking soda used as a scrub will greatly reduce the smell too. See, and that's where that lava soap came in because it had that abrasive in it. And the only problem is you scrub till you till you take off 2 layers of skin, and yeah, and when it's on your butt, it's not very comfortable. Yeah, yep. Gotta love the outhouse. Gotta love the outhouse. What have I got on here? Anything else I want to tell you about outhouses? There's plenty, but um, oh, I'm going to just mention a couple of neat things I've seen in outhouses that are real interesting. Okay, here's one. If you want to have fun with an outhouse, now out at our Camp WTF, one thing we did was this: I took a piece of lath. You know what lath is, and it's about 3 feet long. Looks like a yardstick without measurements on it. Took a piece of lath, and we marked intervals on it about 3 inches. Yeah, it was 3 inches. And then at the 6 inch mark, it was a big heavy line. And then another 3 inches. Then at the 12 inch mark, a big heavy line. And we went up to about 2/3 of the length of that stick. We drilled a hole in the end of the stick. And we put a piece of paracord through it. And then Big Jim had whittled a replica Mora knife. It was just made out of wood. It was just whittled. Drill a hole through that. Put that on the paracord at the end of that stick. And then on the stick, it said poop stick on it. And then on the wooden knife, it said turd cutter. And we just had that propped up in the corner of the outhouse so that when you went in there and sat down and you're looking around, it's sitting right there in the corner. We had a lot of questions. People would ask, what's that turd cutter with the poop stick thing in there? And we tell them, oh, you got to cut yours up because Ty's got to haul it out. And he can only handle so much weight on that shovel. Then another thing that I saw in an outhouse that I thought was really unique, that makes people really think. A bushel basket sitting right next to the hole full of pine cones with a little sign in it that says, don't forget to wipe. And then what you have is you have a hidden compartment there with a door on it that's got the toilet paper so they don't see it. And they're sitting there looking around. Don't forget to wipe, and it's a bushel basket full of pine cones. Yeah, that gets their attention. And then you really laugh if somebody's dumb enough to use one. What do we got going over here? Okay. Oh yeah. My grandkids, they're not afraid to go out with old Grandpa Sty. Yeah. Yeah, the air raid siren. That's a good one. Yeah. Love that, Jack. Old man. A friend of my father had several skunks get on his truck engine one cold night. Oh boy, did his truck smell bad after he started it in the morning. Oh, oh no. Oh yeah. Can you just imagine that cooking on the exhaust manifold? Oh, that oh, you wouldn't know whether you should roll the windows down or not, because which would be worse? Um, yeah, gosh almighty. Uh, no, he didn't get my old saw yet. He's got to come camping with me this summer to get it. What a tearjerker. uh, yeah, another thing I saw in an outhouse that was pretty good, and it makes me think of the air raid siren. This old guy had set his outhouse up, and on the back wall there was a flush lever, just like you see on a regular toilet. There's a flush lever there, and a sign that says "Don't forget to flush." Well, that flush lever was rigged up to one of those big canister air horns. And if you pull down on that thing, it blasts the heck out of that air horn. And the best part of it was somebody that didn't have a clue went and used that outhouse, and you're sitting out around the fire pit, and all of a sudden you hear that horn go off. You know that there's somebody stupid enough to think they can flush the outhouse. Oh yeah, guys. Yeah, I think we're going to be wrapping up this evening at the 2 hour mark, which gives us another 13 minutes yet. 2 hours, 2.25 hours. Nice group tonight. Really nice group tonight. I appreciate everybody that showed up. And hey, hope you smash that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed to me, if you like what you're seeing, jump on and hit that notification bell so that you know when I'm up and running doing live feeds. They wouldn't let him park in the parking lot at his work. That's when I'd want to go do business at the local courthouse, at the bank. I'd want to go do business at the sheriff's office, and I'd want to go to whatever local drive-in you have, like A&W or whatever. Yeah, park, especially one that's got car hops, and just leave the truck running. What the heck? Oh, I need to write a book. I've had a bunch of people tell me that I should be writing basically my life story with all of this stuff all piled into it. And no, I don't have the patience to sit and type and type and type and type and type all that stuff. If there's a true writer out there that thinks they want to write Sty's story, they can go back and look at the 250 videos I've done and the 250 more I'll be doing in the next year or two. Put it all together, write a book about it, and have fun. And I hope generations down the road go, look at that crazy old fart. Isn't he half nuts? I've had people say, I mean, they don't like it. They go, Sty's so full of it. That's just all a bunch of baloney. Don't believe him. Don't believe a word he says. Why not? I mean, I'm 62 years old, and I've been going around the block, around the block, around the block. You know, I wasn't the brightest crayon in the box growing up. I just kept going around the block, around the block. So I always watched everything my whole life. Everything always catches my attention. And I burn it up here. And my ex-wife used to always say, worthless information. And I always said, what? And she said, no, that's worthless information. She says, you try to remember everything that you ever see happen. Everything people say, you try to remember it. You insist on trying to recall everything you do. She says, you're just wasting space in your head with worthless information. But you know how many times in 38 years she would say to me, oh, I've got this problem. I need to know blah, 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 blah. And I'd go, oh, well, you know, this, and this. And she'd go, oh, I knew I could ask you that you'd remember. Well, wait a minute. I thought that was all worthless information. So, Sty's just packed full of worthless information. But if you can get a laugh out of that worthless information, I feel I accomplished something in life. Oh, thanks, Jack. Yes, Jasmine, I did get my Sty cookie, and I ate it. It had way too much frosting and stuff on it. I'm diabetic, for crying out loud, kid. My granddaughter gave me a Christmas cookie. Holy smokes. I ate it. There's like 2 pounds of sugar. I had to take an extra insulin shot just to have a Christmas cookie. But thank you very much. Well, good, Miles, because I don't want to feel alone. I got the last word on her. Not really. Actually, I think the last time I saw her, she had the last word. But that's fine. Hey, Jim, now you're proving to me that you're paying attention and you're watching. Yep, that's it. Let's say that the facts in my head are as thick as the ticks on a bear skinner's belly. I got side emails. People would go to my about page and look up my email address, and they'd send me emails about that video thick as ticks on a bear skinner's belly. And they weren't nice emails. But I was very thankful. They didn't give me a thumbs down. They didn't leave a nasty comment. But they sent me emails chewing me out saying, that poor woman. I mean, to find out that underneath the rolls on her belly, she's full of wood ticks. I said, well, that was years ago. It's over with. And they removed the ticks. So now we can laugh about it. It was terrible at the time. Funny as heck now. Rupert Digger, grandkids are the best. Yeah. Oh, they'll keep you thinking. They'll keep you moving. And in little subtle ways, you can corrupt them and send them back home to mom and dad. Yeah. Yeah, I've logged a lot of hours at the fire. A lot of hours at the fire. In fact, when we moved out to Montana, when I moved my family out to Montana, we moved out there with 5 other families, and that's a whole story in itself. In fact, I'm going to be doing a video on that probably within the next month, called Westward the Wagons, about our move to Montana. When we moved out there, there was a total of 5 families. Did I say it was us and 5 other? Well, it was 5 families. It was us and 4 other families. But when we got out there, we moved in July, right after the 4th of July. When we got out there, we didn't realize that summers in northwestern Montana, it didn't get dark out until 11 o'clock at night. Well, our kids, we're telling them, hey, it's 9 o'clock, it's bedtime, go to bed. We all lived in campers or tents or whatever. And our kids would say, who are you kidding? It ain't dark out. It ain't night yet. Well, try to convince your kids, no, your bedtime's at 9 o'clock, not when it gets dark, especially out here. Well, when it doesn't get dark till 11, you don't start the campfire for the night until 10, an hour early, and then you're up until 4 in the morning telling campfire stories. So, and then you got to get up 6:30 in the morning to get on with the day's business. So, yeah, it was pretty tough for the first month that we lived out there. A lot of campfire stories, though. Old man. When I was a teenager, there was a man nobody particularly liked. Someone caught a live snowshoe rabbit and put it in this guy's mailbox after the mailman put his mail in. He got a big surprise. I bet you. It's not different. It's not pop goes the weasel. It's pop goes the rabbit right in your face when you open the mailbox. Hey, White Cloud, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'll try to have a good week. Like next Friday, 7 p.m., I'll be doing another live stream. So maybe we'll catch you there. Thanks so much for stopping by. What do we got going here? Yeah, Butterball, those late summers up in the Pacific Northwest, can't beat it. Yeah, having a few people that got to jump, but that's all right. I totally understand it. I mean, we've been going at it for almost 2 hours. Okay, plain old Chuck, take off and beat the traffic. Hey, no, thank you for sharing my evening. I wasn't doing anything this evening anyway. This is my day off. Now I get to work 4 in a row, and that's why Friday will be the next live stream. And I'll meet up with a bunch of folks on Friday. We'll see you, Jack. It made a run around his car tearing up the seats. That's too good. That's too good. Oh gosh. Good night, Ufer. She said once a raise. Kick you in the back of the pants hard enough that'll raise you a couple inches. Hey, Jim, thanks for jumping in. It was good seeing you. Great seeing you. Yeah. I think we accomplished pretty much what we set out to do tonight. The, that left a few on my list left. Um, I'll just have to do Sty stories on the rest of them down the road. But I think the ode to the little brown shack out back was a success, guys. It was a blast. It was so much fun having you all here. Um, and hey, I look forward to seeing you back again. Don't forget, if you want, you can jump over to Sty Shack on Facebook, become a member of the group, um, and you can do it from my homepage. And to catch my videos, make sure to hit that notification bell, and it'll remind you when I'm up and running. Thanks, Sean, a lot. Good night now. Hey, guys, I'm going to shut her down. So, good night to everybody. And if you're available, I'll catch you next Friday evening at the Sty Shack. Just a little old place where we can all get together. Good night, folks.